Welcome traders, and in this video we're going to be looking at how to identify when the market is ranging and when the market is trending. So before we get into actually identifying the different market conditions, we need to actually understand the market environment. So by doing this, we're obviously going to understand exactly where the pair is going to be moving on a long-term basis, so we're actually able to identify trading setups. So we want to identify where the market is trending, range bounding, especially in order to build a trading plan for any given scenario. So the basics of a trending market. A trending market is basically when the price moves in one overall direction. So I'll pull up a diagram of exactly how that would work and show you on some live charts as well. But basically a trending market is when it moves either up or down over a long period of time. So in these diagrams we can see here, illustrated in the uptrend, we can see the higher high printed. It's a higher high because it's higher than the prior high, higher low because we're moving up in the uptrend, so we need to create a higher low base format, and then we create a new higher high, a new higher low, and a new higher high. So if you see this sort of trend happening on the higher time frames, daily and the weekly, monthly, then it is in a significant uptrend, so we want to be looking for buy trades. And on the flip side, we have a downtrend, so we can see this lower low because it's lower than the prior low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. So that allows the market to actually move down within the downtrend, and we want to be looking for sell trades. So in the market, when we are looking at trending markets and trending directions, there are many things that we need to be looking out for, such as moving averages, Fibonacci, retracements, and also reversals. So these are all things that are going to contribute to the trending markets and our ability to actually identify them when it comes to actually finding a trade setup around it. Okay, so let's hop onto the charts now and identify a little bit more about the actual trade directions. So in this example here, which I've pulled up on the Euro USD, we're here on the daily, and on the daily and the weekly and the monthly, as I've said before, it's good indication as to where we're going to be looking for the overall momentum, so that we can actually find trade direction, find trading setups, and then trade within the overall momentum. So here we can actually see a downtrend. So if I was to pull up the Eclipse tool, and let's just say, let's pull out this low and, you know, even this high up here, we can see we've had a move down. We've pulled all the way up to here, created a lower high, and then we've actually come all the way down to here, and we've actually created a lower low. From there we actually did pull all the way up, but if I was to even take a rectangle tool and just draw a line across, we can see that we didn't invalidate the prior lower high. We create lower low, lower high, and even a new lower low here, and then once again we created a new lower high. So we can see this is a downtrend because of the lower lows, lower highs printed. So visually it's easy to identify and plot where these are happening, and then we can use other tools such as, you know, Fibonacci, retracements, certain reversal patterns maybe on a lower time frame, in order to actually identify the key setups, in order to identify trade setups, short or long, if we're looking to buy or sell. In this market we're going to be looking for mostly sells in order to go within the overall trade direction. Okay, so on the flip side, on an uptrend, we can see here, we can see a base low here. We can see the market did come in fact up, and we drive into make this new high here. We then come up and made a higher low here. So we made a higher low, and then after that we made a new higher high because it is higher than the prior high. If we have a look at what the market did then, higher low and higher high, got quite messy here. You could take this as a higher high, higher low, higher high, but we can see the actual overall direction and the actual speed and rapid pace that this pair is actually moving within the uptrend. And actually, you know, if you was to actually buy at any of the higher low points, then obviously it can be very, very profitable and lucrative actually when you get involved within these overall trends on the daily, weekly and monthly time frames. And lastly is the sideways or range bound market. Now, if we have a look at what Euro USD is currently doing on daily, if I was to actually identify where these market structures are actually happening, we can see this low printed here, we can see the high, we can see this low here, but if we actually look, it is actually above this low. So we could take it as a higher low, which we should do. So then the market should print a new higher high in that case. But if you have a look at here, the market has actually printed a lower high from this high, and then we've come down. The market is currently sort of stuck in mid-range at the moment, but we can see that we've actually pulled up to here. So if we was to actually pull up a little bit higher on the Euro USD, then we can see that it's actually moving within 2 points. And now this is a range bound market because we're actually stuck in consolidation on the daily. If I was to flick to the weekly, it's probably still visible. Here we can still see it's visible on the weekly, this range bound movement and consolidation. If we look left, we can actually see that we were in a prior uptrend. So there is some positive news that potentially we could break to the upside and continue within the overall uptrend, as this was a brief period of consolidation. But you know, we don't have the confirmation or the we don't have all of the confirmation setups in order to actually trade this long yet. We need to break above the highs in order to actually get that. So this has been a little bit about the trending markets and range bound markets. Quite simple. I know many of our traders are already getting this information, but it's good to refresh ourselves exactly where the market is heading and which condition is the market in. Is it range bound or is it trending? So that's all for this episode. Be sure to drop any questions or comments on any future topics you'd want covered, and stay tuned for the next video to come. Trade safe.